Grumble, grumble.
Hey everyone, it's the Grumpy Meeple, and I'm coming at you today with the next video in my Oathsworn playthrough series, which is going to be the very first encounter against the Broodmother. Just giant beast rat in the center of the playboard here. So one change that I've made is I decided to, instead of playing the companion versions of the priest and the ranger, I just decided to play the full version, mostly because the companions function quite a bit differently, and I didn't want to have to learn two different rule sets. It's a little disappointing. One thing I think this game could use a lot more of is rules references, like sheets, something along those lines. And for the companions, I was reading through the rules and the way that they handle damage and some effects and stuff are divergent from the other heroes, and it just didn't seem like it was going to save me any time. It was just going to create confusion. Beyond that, I've got my board all set up. You can see I've got my trees painted up in a very basic kind of generic way, but I think they turned out pretty good. I'm really actually quite happy with them. These are beautiful. The terrain set, I want to say it was $35 or $40 during the campaign, and it was ludicrously underpriced. I mean, it's as much plastic as is in a game of like Zombicide, like a core game, because these trees are absolutely enormous, and so is everything else. The walls are giant. There are two full-size houses in it. Beautiful set. I highly recommend the terrain set, and really easy to paint too. Everything else I think I've got set up here. I think I've managed to reduce the table hogginess of this game as much as possible, basically. I'm going to be rolling dice, I think, for my heroes, just to make it kind of less finicky. But for the villains, for the monsters, I will be using the card deck, because the game recommends that so that it's less bursty, in terms of its damage. I've got my dice all set out here on the character card. Another suggestion that I might make for the reprint of Oathsworn, these boards are calling out, screaming out to be dual layered, and so I would dual layer them. I think the game's expensive enough and blingy enough as it is that there, I would put the extra money into blinging out the boards too. But got it all set up. We're facing the Broodmother. She's got an ability called Release the Brood that's going to show up on her cards. And basically when it happens, she's just going to spawn more of the giant rats. And then those rats are going to move and attack. Here we see the might that she starts out with. And what's going to happen is, as we're attacking her, we're going to destroy areas of her body, like her head. And that's going to directly impact her ability to effectively attack, because the attacks are going to use a particular body part, basically, or area. And what happens is, when she attacks with that area, she's going to lose one of her most powerful cards. So she'll only draw one red instead of two. So right off the bat, I'm going to want to destroy that head. And basically everything except for this would be the right flank, because that doesn't actually have any attacks associated to it. The rest of them do. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we start with the refresh phase, except this is the first round, so kind of Not a lot of refreshing going on. We just move we start with all of our animus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All these characters have 8 max animus with the exception of the ranger. She has 7. These lovely animus gems. And basically all the Oathsworn get to activate as many times as they want in whatever order they want. So in the game manual and stuff, they call out that like, oh, work it out amongst yourself who's the leader, and work it out when you activate and whatnot. And I don't think that that's necessary solo, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to kind of activate until I use up all my animus. So, first of all, I want to make sure that I'm happy with this placement. You get the starting tiles from your book here. I believe these guys are all correctly laid out. I'm going to move him there. And I'm going to put him there because I really want to just like aggressively assault her and try to knock her head off right off the bat. So I suppose I'll start with the ranger. Why not? So I've got my starting hand of 7 cards. They all have a battle flow position that corresponds to your board. So 3, 2, 1, 0, and an animus cost. Pay the animus to do the attack. Let's see. Yeah, she's gonna play long shot. So right off the bat, we're gonna get at it. So we're gonna need the encounter rule book. This is the first time that I'm attacking. I'll make sure I got everything. Playing ability cards, choose the effect, play the cost, resolve the card's effect. Blah blah blah. We've got a bunch of tokens, empowers and rerolls, and I might even just go for it and empower this first shot. What the empower does is it lets you bump up 3 of your dice in whatever combination you want. So you could take a white and turn it into a yellow. You could take a white and turn it into a black. You could take a yellow and turn it into a red, etc. and so forth. So she's going to be doing an attack. It's got +2 range, and her standard range with the short bow is 4. So she's got a range of 6. He is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6 away. Beautiful. Because this does an additional damage for each hex of range it takes to reach the target beyond range 4. So at range 6, it does 2 extra damage. So she's going to pay 4 animus. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is going to get played into the 1 slot. So, one thing, this game is kind of a table hog. And it's not even because of the actual components themselves necessarily. It's because of this battle flow system and the need to place cards like all around your character to track battle flow. So it's a little bit of a table hog, but that's okay. You'll see me try to deal with that as we play. So she's doing an attack, 6 range. Just double check that range. 6, yeah. 6 range at the head. She gets a yellow die because of her might, which comes from her longbow. She gets 2 extra damage for the range of the attack. And then she gets to choose as many white dice as she wants. She's got 2 rerolls. I'm going to choose 3 white dice. And if you get 2 blanks, then you miss. So we're going to want to try to avoid that as much as possible. Let's take a look at these yellow dice. Yellow dice have 2 blanks on them. I think I'm going to spend my Empower token, and I'm going to bump all of these whites up to yellow. But I'm actually only going to roll 3, and I'm going to bump one of these up to a red. Yeah. Because I really don't want to waste this, and I really do want to blast her with it. So she increased 1 yellow to a red and 2 whites to yellows. The Broodmother has 2 defense, and so the way a defense works is you total the hits and then you divide it by the defense and round down. Where do I want to actually roll these? I'm just going to roll them right here. Oh, okay. 3, 2. All right, so she's doing 6 damage. Oh, plus the 2, so 8 damage, which would mean 4 got through. That's a pretty great start. I think I'm going to probably call it there on that attack. I did already spend my Empower token. 4 damage, so the head's down to 2. Boop. Let's see. One thing we're going to want to pay attention to is that these cards are not just attacks, they're also defensive. They increase your defense, and so you need to hold back to some extent to make sure that you don't get whacked by her. So I think I'll hold off for now. She's still got 3 Animus left. I can figure out something else to do with her, but that was a great start, and I think I'm going to move to there's another thing that these guys need is their defense tokens. She's got 3 defense, I believe. Maybe it's just 2. Yeah, she's got 2 defense. And the priest has 3. The penitent is my strongest character with 4 defense. And you can see I painted these guys up in my Lazy Man's painting style, and I think that they look great. The pieces are still removable, but they are more kind of snug now than they were unpainted, so that's great too. So let's see. Let's think about activating the exile. Let's see what he can do. First of all, I want to see, does he have any kind of ranged attack? And he does. He has weapon throw. Costs 3 Animus, goes in cooldown 1. If you have a weapon, plus 3 damage, range 3 thrown. It's an attack plus 3 damage. Wow. So that would damn near guarantee a kill on the head. which would be a really nice way of starting off. Now, one thing we want to keep in mind is that we know what's going to happen when we beat that head, because we're going to remove this and it's going to have one of these encounter state card symbols, which means we're going to activate the card that's on the top, which is Acidic Maw, which means she's going to release the brood, she's going to move 5 to her target, and then she's going to attack with her teeth. Now it is going to be weakened, but she's going to attack whoever knocks her out, basically, who knocks that body part out. So she is going to attack him, and he's going to lose an armor for each damage he takes, and that's going to last for the rest of the encounter. So that's brutal. He could lose all of his armor, and he only has 2 to begin with. Now let's see if I use Weapon Thrown. I've got some 3 armors, which would give him 5. So she would have to... she'd have to hit him pretty hard to be able to actually damage him based off that. Should have to hit him 5 or better. But still, I wonder, perhaps the Penitent has an attack that might be preferable. So he's got Sweep, which is an area effect, so he could potentially not only knock out the head but do some damage to the sides as well. I believe, yeah. That could be interesting. We don't want to, if we're trying to, one thing from the rules is that if you do kill a body part, then any additional effects don't trigger, like knockbacks or bleeds. So we wouldn't want to rely on something like that following the head kill, because it won't activate. But Sweep is definitely an option if he has enough to get there and do it. He'd have to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he would sweep. Whoa! So he would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he would sweep this spot. That'd be... which spots is she actually taking? No, that wouldn't actually hit multiple target or multiple spots. Don't think I like that idea either. She's going to move 5 to her target. His range is only 3, so it's not like he can hit her without getting hit back. Maybe I'll just move the Penitent up and just do a basic attack also, because he can tank the hit. I'm pretty confident that he can take the hit with all that defense. He doesn't have as much. Yeah, he's got some good defense on his cards. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend 4 to move the Penitent. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. trying to find an ability or an attack card that works for me. I'm thinking it might be Intercession because it doesn't look like it has any. You just pay the anima cost of the card, which is only 2. Actually, I have a better idea. Because what I could do is move the Penitent. I'm trying to remember if he can stop her attack. No, he really can't. Damn it. Because she'll come through him to get to the guy who broke her open. You know what, maybe I'm just pussyfooting around too much. Maybe he just does get it done. So it's range 3 plus 3 damage. Thrown. Cost 3. So he's gonna move. He needs to move. So you'd have to move there. Which is 2. And then he's gonna throw his weapon. And let's see what our weapons have here. Oh, he's also got his special abilities that I forgot about. Open Wound. Unbound Rage. Whenever you draw a critical during an attack that hits, gain 1 Animus. No Might, which means he's just rolling white dice, which have 2 messes on them. He's gonna roll 3. He's gonna throw his weapon at her big stupid head. There we go. Alright, so 4 damage. Plus the 3 is 7. Her defense is 2. So her head is destroyed. She's super fucking pissed. Let me make sure I did everything with him. I got that. I need to pay the Animus cost of the attack. 3. Although, as I noted, whenever he didn't roll any criticals, so that doesn't actually apply. So we destroyed her head, which means that she's going to react. If a hit point dies or removed from a boss for any reason, that location is said to be broken. When this happens, perform the following steps in order. Check the encounter special rules to see if the encounter stage changes. Stage 2 triggers when the Broodmother loses 2 dice, so that does not trigger. Whether or not the stage changes, draw and resolve the top card of the stage deck with the character who broke the location as the target. Yeah, this is a reaction. And then you turn the next stage card face up. Okay. So the head is down on this beast, and she is going to do her acidic maw. Maw dripping with slime, the Broodmother latches onto her target's armor, masticating them with acidic saliva. So the first thing she does is release the brood. Place 3 giant rats adjacent to the brood mother in the hexes closest to her rear that have no characters in them. So closest to her rear, she's shaking them off of her back, obviously. So that's gonna be like here. Here. That's 2 X's away instead. And then I'm gonna sit here. She's shaking them off her back. And just know, the rules to this game are really complex. I'm not even gonna attempt to perfectly run the game. I'm gonna run it the way that, if there are judgment calls like that, then I'm gonna use my common sense, basically. Because I don't, there's this golden rule of north and west. And that would have fit with it anyways, basically. She moves 5 to her target, so she's gonna... I am not happy with you right now. Right, and she's facing him. She attacks with her teeth. So she is weakened. She loses 1 of her might dice. I might just find a way of... This will just help me remember she lost that. So she draws 1 red card and 3 yellows on her attack. And I need to see, I believe it's at this point that I have to decide what kind of defense I want to do, which I definitely want to do. 4 cards, man, that it could really be brutal. He's gonna need to lay out all the stops on defense. So he's got an ability called Headbutt. It's a reaction after adjacent enemy draws damage. Ignore one of the enemy's might cards, your choice. That's insanely powerful. Yeah. So I think he's going to play Death from Above for the defense, which is 3, which knocks him up to 5 total. And then he's going to hold on to this Headbutt. And playing it as a defense does not cost you anything in terms of Animus. Defensive cards don't have anything associated to them, so he's got 5 defense, and then he has the option to play Headbutt and to add a defense with this defense token, and he can do both of those after she draws. So let's see what happens. Oh man, this is brutal because of his crappy defense and the fact that he came into this wounded. Him losing what little defense he has would be pretty bad. So she gets 1 red. And 3 yellow. One mistake I made in my story playthrough was that I was shuffling these decks after every draw, and you're definitely not supposed to do that. I don't know why I thought that. It makes no sense, obviously. That's the whole point of drawing cards instead of rolling, is that they're less random. It's 3 yellow. Oh, a blank on the red. 2, 4, Oh, so enemies don't miss. They don't miss if they roll 2 blanks. So she's only doing 4 damage. He's got 5 defense, which means that she doesn't hurt him at all. Which means not only does he not have to spend any more of his ability cards or anything like that, but her acidic maw, where it would have eaten through my armor, doesn't work. So this goes into her discard pile, which I'm going to place there. And then she moves 4 northeast, 4 spaces northeast. So she's going to flee back into the woods, basically. Now, I do want to look up for her movement. It's not clear on how she would face herself. Monster will not change its facing until it arrives. All enemies have a facing denoted by arrow. After an enemy moves, ensure that it's facing its target. If they have no target or do not end adjacent to them, turn the enemy to face in the direction of the final hex of movement. The fuck? Oh, so northeast. I see. Okay, so she's gonna move 4 in this direction. So she's gonna go. And then she's gonna destroy this, and she's faced that way. So she just nuked one of my trees, which gives me the opportunity to show you my really crappy, basic, and yet satisfying paint job that I did on it. And yeah, I think that that's pretty much as good as it can get. Again, I don't want to spend the rest of my life learning these rules and pontificating on basings and such. I'm just going to kind of play it out the way it makes sense and the way the rules read. That was amazing. To take no damage with one of my weaker characters in terms of defense on that was pretty damn epic. And now the giant rats are exposed too. So looking at her next ability, it's going to be Gnaw, and she's going to do this on her turn. She's going to release the brew, which is going to unleash even more rats. She's going to move 7 to her target, and then she's going to attack again with her teeth, and then move 3 southwest. So she's going to come blazing back in, which means that this might be a good opportunity to actually attack her backside because she's exposed it. If I can even get to her, I mean, she's moved quite a bit. Alternatively, it might be a good opportunity to just fall back, and maybe I can make her actually miss a turn, because everybody still has plenty of animus. We could come around, you know, to this side of the map, and then when she moves back, she'll waste her turn. That could be interesting. I'm not sure he can make it entirely. Yeah, I guess he probably can. Probably move. So he'll spend his 3 animus to move there. Now when she moves 1, 2, 3, she'll still be able to get to him. Still have another animus left? No. He spent 10. Because he moved 2 to begin with. It's 5, and then he just spent 3 to move. That's 8. Yeah. Either way, he's gonna move here. And then let's see, maybe he's got 0 cost animus card that could get him out of here. Oh, no, you know what? He did still have 1 left, because because he got one back. So he should be able to move 4. So he'll spend this. She'll spend 1 to get out of his way. And then he'll spend that to move back there. Yeah. Okay. All right. Question is, do I want to charge in there and start dealing with these rats, or do I want to make them come to me? They've got movement of 6. They're really far away. I mean, it's going to be hard to get to them either way. Let's see, in terms of his targeting. Closest Oathsworn in line of sight that the enemy can reach is the target. So that opens up a potential opportunity for her, because she's got her special ability for tree running. Nah. So I think I just want to position the penitent to be out in front, so that he takes the next hit. And I would like to see if the priest can do anything to buff him up. Okay, so I need to check too. Do I get some kind of bonus for destroying the head? No, it looks like it's pretty much just shitty. I think these two are going to split off, and they're just actually going to move behind this. On the other side of this tree, they can get there. Yeah. So he's going to spend like 4, 2, because he can't see me from there. Can't see me. Line of sight. Trace a line from the closest corner. Oh, the big enemies always draw line of sight from their center, so there's no way he can see either of them. So he's going to charge at him, and he's not going to be able to get there. So that's it. I'm gonna pass the rest of my turn, and we're going to go to the encounter phase. Draw and resolve the top stage deck. So she's going to do Gnaw, release the Brood. So she's going to drop 3 more of these giant rats in the hexes behind her. And then she's going to move 7. So she's going to turn. She's looking and she's looking. Where's the goddamn arrow? Yeah. And she's like, this motherfucker. And when she moves, does she knock out of the way? No. So she moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and she's just out of range. Whoo! Hello! But now I've got her flanked. You stupid rat. Then she tries to attack. Having failed to do so, she moves 3 southwest. So this, I think. 1, 2, 3. She's facing. I really need to paint these bases. She's facing like that. Yeah. Damn, destroyed another tree. I need those trees. Okay. And then get rid of this. We flip the next stage card up. Tail whip. Oh. Turn her face directly away from her target. This is a massive cone AoE, so this is going to be really nasty. Especially if I don't destroy her head. I just realized that this doesn't work because it only applies to her head, not the rest of her attacks. Okay, and then the giant rats. Move 6 to the closest target, basically, and then attack. He's got line of sight to him, so 2, 5. So he gets an attack. 6, he gets an attack. 6. Whew. So they are charging in, but they're also very bumped up, and they didn't get to do any damage this round. Oh, and speaking of which, I totally forgot that these guys actually get an attack on him, on the penitent. So let's do that. Yeah, minions have mob attacks. Mob, right? Minion mob, yep. When the character is attacked by one or more mob enemies, use the total might of all the mob enemies attacking that character to determine the might cards drawn. 3 giant rats, so if 2 giant rats are attacking, and a giant rat has 2 yellow cards, then they draw 4. Yeah, okay. So they're gonna get 4 yellow cards. Now I know that he has an ability called Revenge. After you lose any damage from an attack by an adjacent enemy, make the same or another adjacent enemy lose 1. So you could kill one of them right off the bat. Don't want to play any of his cards out into the battle flow and have them just sit there. So I want to find a low battle flow card that could buff his defense up a little bit. Yeah, I think I'll play this as defense. Unbelievable, only 2 damage, so nothing gets through, but that yellow deck is getting more dangerous. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So come back next round when we attempt to wipe out a whole bunch of brood rats. Hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you later.